All right, good morning, traders. Today's September 26th, 2025. It is Friday. All right, that means it'll be options expiration Friday. All right, I picked these Fridays for my options because there's a lot of open interest in it. All right, I want to thank everybody out there, podcast land, digital land, cyberland. All right, thank you for subscribing to my content, following my channels, or subscribing to my channels. Thank you for the kind words, the likes, the hearts. If you're on Twitter, thank you for sharing my content. Again, special shout out John Jordan, Bob Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted. Thank you for sharing the content, helping get the good word out there to help traders around the world. Thank you. All right, let's go take a look at the market today. Let's see what's happened. Well, let's do the morning monologue and see what happened yesterday. Again, thank you for being here. My SPY pivot this morning, 657.45. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. SPY and QQQ made lower lows and lower highs, closing below bullish traps, but over their 17 EMAs. FNGU, Diamond Dow, and IWM made lower highs and lower lows, closing under bearish crosses, but over their 17 EMAs. SPY closed with a 2-hour downtrend and a 10-minute bullish consolidation. Not quite an uptrend, had like a very weak one-candle uptrend. SLV made a new, the silver made a new 14-year high. Gold made an inside day. That's a lower high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. You know that's bullish. USO made an outside day, higher high, lower low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. USO had a nice day yesterday. UNG made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bearish trap but under the 17. US dollar index had a great day. Cranked it up to 98.52 area, still in that bear flag. SPY max paying 658. All right, that's for the options that expired today at 4:15, because those index options, they expire at 4:15. Security options expire at 4. Okay, so we got a max pain of 658, but a put to call ratio of about 1.5 put for each call that expires today. All right, now if you're looking at this for the first time, these are in bullish uptrends over the 17 EMA. If they cross the 17 EMA, they get removed from the list. These are in bearish downtrends under the 17 EMA. If they cross the 17 EMA bullishly, they get taken off the list. If they got a little star next to them, means they're building out a launch pad from which to launch higher, kind of like a little bull flag, all right? So if they got a little star next to them over here, they're building out a platform from which to dip lower. So that would be like a little bear flag over here, okay? So over the 17, under the 17, uptrends, downtrends, bear flags, bull flags, all right? Let's take a look at the markets today. Let's take a look at SPY. All right, so here we are with a daily chart on the SPY, okay? You can see a lower low, lower high, closing under the bullish trap. It's almost across, under the bullish trap, but over the 17, that's the green dots right here. If we zoom way out, we can see price action. It's at the top of quadrant 4. It feels like it's falling apart, I know, all right, but it's still bullish up here as long as it stays in the upper third, okay? So it's bullish up here and still in an uptrend. We haven't broken anything yet, all right? So there's SPY on the daily chart. On the 2-day chart, just want to bring up the BZO, all right? Something I follow. Today, if we close underneath the 9 EMA, and it seems like this is the precursor to a visit to the 17 or the 8 EMA. Well, we're already at the 8 EMA, so chances are we're coming down to either the 17 EMA or this uptrend line right here, okay? So this will be the second day of the 2-day, all right? Yesterday was the first candle on the VZO. If we see another one and this closes out underneath the 9 EMA, pretty much spells out that we're probably going to get a visit to, well, the 17 or the uptrend line. So we'll see what happens. You can see right here, we didn't quite make it yesterday over the 9 EMA, so we'll see what happens today. All right, so maybe we get bullish, crank it up to 662, and we wind up closing, over the 9 EMA on the VZO. Okay, but every time we get a failure to close over the 9 EMA on the VZO, we have visited either the 17 or the 8 EMA, and you can see these little red nubs that happen every so often. And it starts all the way back here on the April rally. There's the first one, and then of course you get the pullback. See it right there to the 8 EMA, and then here's the next one. Here, pull back to 17 EMA. Here's another one right here. Pull back to 8 EMA right there. It's another one. Pull back to 17 EMA. You get the idea, okay? Kind of a leading indicator on if you follow that. But it's been doing a pattern. See this pattern of, accelerated buying and then a pullback to these areas. Accelerated buying, pullback. All right, so here's that accelerated buying since the last time we were down here, and now we're getting that pullback right now. So we'll see what happens. All right, so there's SPY on the 2-day chart. I said the weekly is still bullish. You can see all the green dots here. That's the 17 EMA. Price still up on top of the 3 EMA up here. Okay, so that's still a bullish uptrend on the weekly. On the monthly, same deal. See the price candle up on the 3 EMA. Got that bullish gap open there. So we're still bullish on the monthly chart. See all the green dots right there, kind of showing us bullish on the monthly. All right, let's take a look at 2-hour. And on the 2-hour chart, we're in a downtrend. Okay, so you can see the price candles on the 3 EMA, which is under the 8, and it's under the 17. So we're having a 2-hour downtrend. Got a little washout here going on, so I don't know if we get another leg lower or if this is a reversal area. Obviously support. You can see the support right there by the looks of that big tail down there. So you can see we came down and tagged that support area. So are we going to come back up and close over the 17 or maybe even over the 8 EMA today? Should be interesting. We'll find out what happens. There's SPY. That's the 2-hour. We're still in a 2-hour downtrend. On the 10-minute, all right, here is the funky consolidation. Okay, you can see price comes off those lows with a big green candle on the 10-minute chart. Slide this over. Trying to push this down. Okay, and goes up. So we're in a bull flag right now. Currently, bull flag, and you can see price action. It's a weak 1 candle or 2 candle 10-minute uptrend. So I'm not going to call it an uptrend because it's kind of weak, all right? But I am going to call it bullish consolidation as we move up and move over to the right instead of giving it up, all right? So you can see here we are there. So let's go turn on the pre-market, all right, just for a minute here on the 10-minute chart. And or the 5-minute chart's fine. That's fine. We'll take that one. All right, so we got consolidation right here. So we have in the post-market consolidation over prior consolidation. That is a bullish outlook. And then we have more consolidation over prior consolidation. That is a bullish outlook. All right, so far we have a bullish bias for this morning. So we'll see how far we go. Target today is going to be this breakdown, the fill the gap up here, which is almost that 661, and probably where this VWAP left off right there, probably close to 662. We'll see if we can get there. All right, got to make a higher high. We have not made a higher high in a while. Okay, not made higher highs. Need to make a higher high. Finally, looks like they could do it here today because there's a high. We could ink out a higher high today. We'll see what happens. And then I'd like to see them put in a higher low and then rally back up to it. So it could get whippy today if we put in that higher high and we put in a higher low. That would mean a move up, a move back, and then another move up if there's enough time left in the day. We'll see. Okay, so could get whippy. We'll see what they want to do this morning. Normally on Fridays, I've seen this pattern happen. They don't do anything for the first hour and a half or an hour. They kind of run out the clock, all right? So those options decay, all right? So that's what they seem to like to do. Then they make their move, and then they pin it to that number for the end of the day, okay? So they really remove all of your power. It's like they hand in you Superman kryptonite, you know what I'm saying? They just kind of try to remove all your edge by running out the clock on the first part of the day. All right, then they make their move kind of quickly, and then they pin it there to the end of the day. Okay, that's been one of their tactics. All right, so just be aware of that. Looks like we're going for the gap fill right here. All right, so that's nice to see that. Yesterday we had a gap down, obviously. You can see the bulls could not fill the gap. That's a sign of weakness. Maybe they're going to get it done today. We'll see what happens. So here we are on the game plan. And let's pull this down just a little bit because we're going to be talking about that in a second. Okay, so we got green erases red over. That would be yesterday's high. Over 659.30. That's bullish. All right, looking for a 10-minute uptrend over that. So currently in the pre-market, let's look at the pre-market. We have a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. Hope that's not an exhaustion candle. Obviously, they like the personal income and outlays, so that's looking good. So here we are, price action up here. 10-minute uptrend, looking for a continuation of this 10-minute uptrend. That's what I'd be looking for this morning. So I'd be looking for a green candle, all right? I wouldn't want a spinning top, wouldn't want a doji, I wouldn't want a topping tail. Anything with more topping wick. Anything with more wick than body and tail kind of signals to me that bearish control on that 10-minute candle, all right? I wouldn't want a red candle, okay? So no red ones, no spinning tops, or dojis. Dojis and spinning tops kind of say bulls and bears agree on price. When we're trading options, we need momentum. Otherwise, it's just decay that we get, and that hurts us. All right, so we need momentum. We need the move to happen. All right, so we don't want to be standing still waiting for time to expire. Okay, we need price action to move. All right, so we don't want any dojis or spinning tops. That kind of says bulls and bears agree on where the price is right now. All right, and we don't want any red candles because that's obviously, if we're going to be trading calls or a bullish bias, red candle does not fit our scenario because that shows us bearish control. So we want something that says bullish control. Okay, so we got green erases red entry over 659.30. The pivot 657.45. Again, above it I'm a bull, below it I'm a bear. Red erases green underneath 654.45. That would be the 10-minute downtrend for a bearish entry down here. Now, if 10-minute downtrend happens to develop up here, I'm not opposed to trading the 10-minute downtrend as long as it breaks the bearish 10-minute rubber band candle, okay? That's what I'll be looking for to trade that 10-minute downtrend up here, or even up here, long before it gets to the red erases green entry, all right? Same thing for the uptrends. If an uptrend happens to manifest like down here, like that one right there, I'm not opposed to trading that 10-minute uptrend from down here long before it gets to this green erases red entry, as long as it breaks the 10-minute bullish rubber band candle. Okay, so there's price action for the 10 minutes. So I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP that are peeling up and away from VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP that are breaking down, and away from VWAP. My favorite trade, which we don't have, okay, like I said, we don't have these all the time, all right, is the 10-minute, because everything's bullish on the bigger time frames. Uh, I like the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that resides inside the 2-hour uptrend. We don't have the 2-hour uptrend. All right, that resides inside the daily uptrend, inside the weekly, inside the monthly. All of those in uptrends, right? So I got all the bigger time frames supporting my little 10-minute uptrend. Tends to make it go further, tends to make it last longer. So that's my favorite trade. We don't have my favorite trade right now, okay, because 2 hours not in an uptrend. But that can all change. We'll see what happens. All right, so I like for QQQ and SPY, I like 7 days and 14 days till expiration Friday options. Okay, Fridays have more open interest on Fridays. All right, open interest, more liquidity, makes it easier. Okay, thank you for posting, Alan. I like them on the multiple of 5. That also has more open interest on the multiple of 5. I like strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. Not opposed to trading in the money. I just like them a little less risk, and I'm okay with giving up some performance to take on a little less risk and have a little more space. All right, so someone asked a question, do I prefer certain contracts on Friday because the rate of decay? Yeah, well, we're going to get over the weekend. Plus, I like Fridays, mainly Fridays, Alexandria, because of the open interest. Mainly on Friday because of the open interest. And the multiple of 5. You'll look on the multiples of 5 and you'll see more open interest. In other words, more people are holding those, or more institutions are holding those multiples of 5, and that tends to provide more liquidity for my contract when it's time for me to buy or sell. Okay. All right. So there's SPY. There's 14 days and 7 days till expiration Friday option. No problem. Glad you asked that question. It helps everybody. All right. Again, I encourage always ask questions because it's only going to help you down the road, and it will help other people in the room as well. Nice green igniting candle off the base. Okay. What we want here is follow through. All right. We need follow through. Okay. Like to see it break through. We broke through resistance here. Like to see it have some follow through with that green candle. Okay, we'll see what happens this morning. All right, so there's SPY. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ's got a game plan as well. Okay, look at this. This is the all-time high anchored VWAP. Like to see price get on top of that all-time high anchored VWAP and hold the higher ground. Let's go back to SPY. Okay, because they also have an all-time high anchored VWAP. Let's put one up there. Okay, so they're not quite over theirs yet. That's showing you QQQ is a little more bullish than SPY. All right, but I like to see price on top of that all-time high anchored VWAP, holding the higher ground. I don't want to see rejection. Back to QQQ. Okay, on the game plan for QQQ, let's drag that into the window, and this into the window right here. Okay, green erases red entry over 595.20. Okay, obviously we're up over that already. Again, same 10-minute uptrend. I'd be looking for follow through with this candle. I'd be looking for a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend. Okay, bullish green erases red entry. I'd be a 10-minute uptrend over 595.20. Pivot for SPY today, 592.20. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Red erases green entry down here under 589.10. Okay, so 10-minute downtrend underneath there. Again, same thing. If we get 10-minute downtrends that manifest up here, like off of this all-time high anchored VWAP, I'm not opposed to trading those 10-minute downtrends. Just want to see a rubber band candle break, for this to happen on QQQ. Same thing over here. If we get a 10-minute uptrend that happens to manifest like here and here, down here, I'm interested in trading that to the upside as long as it breaks that 5-minute, 10-minute bullish rubber band candle. Okay, so we got red erase green under 589.10, green erase red over 595.20. Okay, so I have this anchored VWAP which starts on September low. Okay, so notice they did not quite tag it yet, but they are tagging the all-time high in VWAP on QQQ right here. All right, let's take a look at QQQ on the daily chart. For that, we'll look at this one right here, and we'll look at the candles. Okay, this would be today's candle right here, not that one, but this one. Lower high, lower low, closing below a bullish trap, but over the rising 17 EMA. Again, top of quadrant 4. We're still bullish up here. Nothing's falling apart, although it appears to be, okay, bullish and still in an uptrend. Let's take a look at FNGU. Okay, FNGU, it'd be this candle right here, lower high, lower low. Notice the body closed over the green dot. So under, if we go to this one right here, okay, on the daily. Okay, so under bearish cross, see the 3 crossing over the 8, under the bearish cross, but over the rising 17. See the body of this candle totally eclipses the green dot over the rising 17 EMA. Okay, I back way out, and you can see, okay, feels like things are falling apart. We're still up here at the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish, and we're still in an uptrend. Okay, IWM. All right, same deal. Under the cross, see this? Higher, lower high, lower low, closing right on top of that 14. Notice it eclipses that green dot. Okay, so under the bearish cross, but over the 17 EMA, or right on top of it right there. Diamond Dow. Okay, Diamond Dow. Again, under the cross, see, lower high, lower low. So everybody got a lower high, lower low, closing basically over the 17, the rising 17, but underneath their trap or cross or whatever it is up there that they were holding them up there, making them bullish. Okay, so there's Diamond Dow, QQQ, SPY, IWM, and FNGU. Okay, all of them. All right, closing with lower highs and lower lows. A lot of them gave us these sword candles. This one gave us the spinning top. Some of us gave us sword candles on smaller time frames, showing us a reversal typical to happen, possible to happen, back up towards the all-time highs. We'll see what happens, okay? Starting to turn around now. That was a nice look with that igniting move. All right, let's take a look at SLV, because SLV had a great day. Silver, okay, new 14-year high for silver. Okay, all-time high is, let's see, right up here, 648.50 something, right up there. So new 14-year high for silver, okay? Top of quadrant 4, that's bullish, still in an uptrend. Gold. Okay, gold, top of quadrant 4, that's bullish, still in an uptrend. Yesterday's price action, lower high, lower low. Actually, that looks more like an inside day. I think it's an inside day. Yep, inside day. Lower high, higher low, closing over the bullish drop, over the 17 EMA. Again, that's bullish, okay? And over the 17. So over the trap and over the 17. Let's take a look at USO. They had a good day yesterday. Look at that's a nice candle. Okay, got an outside day. Okay, that's a higher high and a lower low. But we closed up over the bullish trap, up over the flat 17 or the hooking 17. Almost in the upper third. Okay, they got a habit of disappointing me, so they're not going to get the bullish status, all right, but they are headed that way. So if they can close in the upper third, that would be bullish up here on the quad lines. Okay, notice they go up, they give it up, they go up, they give it up. Just a complete disappointment all the time. Go up, give it up. Okay, so now maybe they can hold the higher ground. It'd be nice to see them just move to the right and then melt up through. That would be a beautiful thing on USO. Okay, so they're not in the upper third, they're not in the lower third, so they're just neutral. But they are on the bullish side of the 50-yard line or the midpoint here. Okay, so, and they are up over that 3-year high anchored VWAP. You can see that's the pink line right here. So they're acting bullish. They're trying to be bullish, but they fail miserably at it because every time they go up, they give it up. All right, so they're just still neutral. Okay, I think they get there. All right, how long they hold it, that will be interesting. If they can hold it up there for a while, that would be nice. All right, but recently you can see here's 4 days and they give it up. There's, I don't know, 5-6 days and then they give it up. Okay, so like to see them hold for longer than 6 days. That would be interesting. That might be, that might be attractive to me. That might attract me like the moth to the flame. That might attract me to USO. We'll see what happens. All right, UNG. UNG's in a downtrend and bearish. Okay, obviously it's the bottom of quadrant 4. Quadrant 1, bottom of quadrant 1. In a downtrend, has not made a higher high in a long, long time. Okay, you can see it's been a while since March, has not made a higher high. Okay, so UNG in a downtrend, bottom of quadrant 1, so you know that's bearish. That is the all-time low, all right? And they were on their way to make another lower low, but they made a higher low, so we'll see where they go from here, all right? But they're still bearish, okay? So it's still in a downtrend. All right, let's take a look at our technicals, T2101, okay? So not yesterday, but the day before was the lowest I've seen the breadth since the COVID breakdown, okay? Remember the COVID dip in the market? Well, it has not been the market breadth. I've not seen the market this bearish since the COVID dip, all right? So here we are with T2101. Got a little bit more breadth yesterday, all right? So notice the breadth increased on the downward candle, all right? So that was interesting. I don't know if that was bulls coming in to rescue price or if it was bears getting excited that they finally got, momentum on their side. So we'll see what happens. But there's the market breadth. Now increasing, no longer decreasing. All right, as of today, or as of yesterday. Okay, so there's T2101. T2122, we found ourselves making lower highs and lower lows, winding up in the oversold zone, only to camp out here all day in the oversold zone. All right, so you can see at the overbought zone, this is where things reverse. Now we're in the oversold zone. Are things going to reverse? Can we find ourselves back up here at the 50-yard line or the midpoint? We'll see. All right. It's going to take the bulls going to have to step up to the plate. All right. And I hope they eat their spinach so we can get there. T2123. This is the rubber band candle for the 200 SMA. T2123. Again, bearish gap down here in the market. Bulls never filled it. Haven't seen that in a long, long time. All right. Price action, just selling from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. Okay. At the end of the day, they still in a 15-minute downtrend, but they did manage to ink out just a squeaky higher low right there. We'll see. That's T2123. 15-minute chart. Again, that is turning bearish and in a downtrend because we're making lower lows and lower highs. Turning bearish. Okay, T2123, 15-minute chart. On the 3-bar chart, okay, in order to take out, get in a downtrend, we'd have to come all the way down here and take out these lows down here, okay? So they're still in an uptrend, okay? They're not moving up. They are melting off right now. They're still bullish up here at the top of quadrant 4. They're still up over the rising 200 SMA. Okay, so that's bullish and in an uptrend. And the 15-minute chart is turning bearish and in a downward. Turning bearish, still bullish up here. Turning bearish and in a downtrend right there. So there's 15, 30. So we're getting a change in character right now. Okay, T2123. FNGU. FNGU right here, today's price action. Well, we gapped down, and the bulls did fill the gap on the big cap stocks. This would be FNGU. So price action comes back up. Notice those red candle balls. So little rally, pull back, make a higher low. Is that a precursor to a higher high? We'll see. This is the rubber band candle. No, wait, let's see. This was the rubber band candle right here today. Yesterday was the rubber band candle. So they need to make it back up over this 200 SMA. See how it's still attached? See this candle right there? See how it crosses the 200 SMA? Well, we came down to here. All right, so that's a spike candle. This would make this the free floating candle. All right, that is the rubber band candle. So we need to see price get sling back with the energy back up to the 200 SMA and close on top of it. We'll see. This is FNGU. All right, so need to make it back up there. Below this snaps the rubber band candle. All right, that would be the bearish rubber band candle, and possible move further south on the downside if we broke below this bearish 15-minute rubber band candle right there on FNGU. All right, or daily candle right there, FNGU. All right, so that's it. Take a look at the economic package, and here's a dollar. Dollar had a nice day yesterday. We're still in a bear flag. All right, still weak. All right, getting close to printing possibly a higher high. Possibly. Haven't seen one in a while. We get up over 98.85. That would be a little higher high right there. That would put them in an uptrend. Currently still in a downtrend and still in a bear flag on the dollar. So we closed yesterday right up here, right around 98.50. Right about 98.50 right there. SPY Max Pain 658. Put to call ratio 1.5 puts for each call that expires today. Earnings, Costco reported last night. Don't know how they did, but that was the big one for the week, was Costco, about $419 billion. We can go take a look at it. Today, nothing but familiar names, nothing that's going to move the markets. On the economic calendar for today, personal income and outlays. That comes out at 8:30, so we already got it. And then we got a consumer sentiment at 10, a rig count at 1 p.m. Let's take a look at that. Personal income and outlays. See if I can figure this out. Personal income month over month. Consensus range 0.3 to 0.4. We got 0.4, high end of the range. Personal consumption expenditures month over month. Okay, 0.3 to 0.5. 0.6. So expenditures went up. Okay, PCE price index month over month. 0.2 to 0.3, we're at the high end of the range. Year over year, 0.6 is the consensus, 2.6 to 2.8, we are at 2.7, so right in the middle of the road. Core PCE price index, all right, month over month, 0.2 to 0.3, low end of the range, 0.2. Core PCE price index year over year, consensus says 2.9 to 3.0. Again, the low end of the range. So it's nice to see the core PCE at the low end of the range. I like to see the income at the high end of the range. Not too bad numbers. Everything's in line. That is a good reason to rally. Let me just say GDP yesterday, all right, those were good numbers. Same with the jobless claims. Those were good numbers. If the market needed a reason to rally, yesterday was it, because we had good data yesterday. This is not bad data either. This is good data on personal income and outlays. So if the market wants to rally, the economic data is there for them to rally. So we'll see. All right, traders. Again, this morning, I'm looking for, all right, back over here. Okay, I'm looking for 5-minute chart. 5-minute chart. Okay, I'm looking. I was gonna say it didn't look like that when we left. All right. Looking for a green candle, looking for continuation of this 10-minute uptrend right here. So I'm looking for a green candle, no red candles. Okay, I need to see follow through. So this may be a pullback, and we'll look for this to J hook off of the base. Need this to J hook off the top of the base. Here's the top of the base. So they can come down, spike it, give us a little rubber band candle, but I need to see that hook back up and start making a higher high. All right, that's what I'm looking for this morning. Going to box off the first 15 minutes of price action, all right, and trade the breakout to the upside or the downside. We'll see what happens. Okay, but that's a nice igniting candle. Need to see some follow through. All right, so either hold the higher ground up here, that would be, or they're probably just, I don't know, run out the clock for the first hour and then look for the move up later on in the day. We'll see what happens. So there's SPY. So those first 15 minutes, we're going to block them off and trade. Again, we're looking for a continuation of the bullish bias. Look, we closed here. We consolidated over it. Then we consolidated over the post market. And now we got the 10-minute uptrend breaking out. So I want the 10-minute uptrend. That's my preferable vehicle to get into today, is that 10-minute uptrend. So to get in, I need a decent candle, okay? No topping wicks, nothing with more wick than body and tail, okay? That goes for SPY and QQQ, okay? Nothing with more wick than body and tail. No red candles, okay? Because that shows me bearish control. And we don't want any spinning tops or dojis, okay? Because that just shows me bulls and bears agree on price. And when they agree on price, they can just run out the clock on my options. So I'm not interested in that either. All right, so that's my plan for this morning for SPY and QQQ. I'll see you guys in about 20 minutes. All right, and we'll kick off the markets again.